they're talking about asking you to reconvene.
We also, all in the build-up to the reconvening, we ran into stories coming from some senators actually threatening that they will do all they can to impeach, the Senate president. And one of them, I think, is from Katsina State. Is it Senator? Okay, we have a caller on the line. Hello, good morning. Thanks for joining us today.
I want to know.
Hello, please turn down the volume of your TV set, please. Hello.
Yes, I said, when was the letter sent to the National Assembly for them to reconvene?
Hello, Peter, you said what? Hello, Peter. Hello, Peter. Okay, I think we lost Peter there. Please just try and put the call through back so that we can have your contribution on the program. What we're looking at is National Assembly reconvening. Is Saraki's seat under threat, or the reconvening is for national interest? Don't forget that the presidency is pleading with the National Assembly to reconvene so that they can consider the environment for INEC and for the 2019 general elections. Right, like we were saying, that there are also threats from some senators saying that the Senate president will be, impeached or, taken off the seat because that seat belongs to the majority, party and all of that. And we've seen the national chairman of the APC coming out to ask the Senate president to resign his seat and all of that. So if all of these things are anything to go by, then the reconvening plea by the executive, will that be a subtle way of trying to
bring him in, open the assembly, and say sit and then do the needful?
Yes, and don't forget Section 50 of the Constitution gave a lay down rules on how a Senate president can be impeached. Hello, we have a caller on the line. Hello, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Hello, good morning.
Hello,
good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Please turn down the volume of your TV set completely or walk away from it. Thank you.
I've done that.
All right, go ahead with your contribution.
It's going to be a threat because it's going to bring about the removal of the Senate president.
Okay, why do you say so?
There's an agitation that he needs to be removed since he has declared.
Okay. So don't you think that the executive, is more interested in the passage of the environment for INEC's expenditure for the 2019 general elections than Saraki's seat?
Apart from that, Saraki's case is one of the major reasons why they are calling them to come back so that they will be able to remove him. We all know that.
All right, Abel, thank you very much for calling all the way from Ogun State this morning. That's Abel from Ogun State. Abel is of the view that, the reconvening is majorly to take away the Senate president. But like we rightly said on the show, that we've not heard from the Senate president, all of that. But if what Abel is saying is anything to go by, then I think we have so much to look out for in the coming days. But will the National Assembly reconvene or not is also another question that we need to talk about. But do you think they will?
Pius, they will, because it's
because of the pressure.
Yes, exactly. It's becoming a national issue, Pius, and they have to reconvene.
Okay, we have a caller on the line. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Is that Isma?
Yeah, it's Isma.
Isma, good morning. How is Katsina today?
Katsina is okay, alhamdulillah.
All right, please go ahead with your contribution. National Assembly reconvening, is it a threat to the seat of the Senate president or for national interest?
Both will come to play.
Okay.
Because already we have seen the clouds. Some senators trying to come together and impeach the Senate president because he defected from PCP to PDP. We have seen a lot of skirmishes, political skirmishes, both at the National Assembly and, of course, at the level of the executive arm of the government. But one thing I want the executive to understand is this is democracy, and all the components that made democracy must be respected, and must be allowed to discharge their responsibilities effectively and efficiently before this democracy we're enjoying will thrive. What I mean here is, it seems as if the executive is undermining the two components of democracy, that is the legislature and of course the judiciary. We have seen what happened between 2015 when this administration came into being between the executive, the legislature and of course the judiciary. We must have that respect for one another. And like I said, in democracy, the three must come together, discharge their responsibilities before we will be able to enjoy the dividends of democracy to the letter. So I want the executive to please, for the sake of this democracy, to play their card at a level in which this democracy will not be truncated. Because already the National Assembly have seen the threat before they proceed on this recess. And thereafter, we have seen how some senators went to the National Assembly trying to break the doors of the National Assembly to reconvene so that they will be able to impeach the national president. We have seen even the intervention of some members of the House of Representatives there. So I think while we want the senators to come back for another reconvene to treat the issue of INEC budget for the 2019, we still need, we still want to see peace reigning at both the National Assembly, the judiciary, and of course the executive arm of the government. Let the National Assembly reconvene, treat the issue of 2019 election budget, and then let there be peace, let there be unity, so that this democracy will continue to thrive, and we as citizens will continue to enjoy the dividends of democracy that our representatives will be able to provide for the development of this country. Thank you very much.
Isma, thank you very much for calling all the way from Katsina State. That's Isma from Katsina. I think Isma has been able to, to put things in perspective. He first of all said it's going to be a threat, but also the National Assembly should also endeavor to reconvene so that they'll be able to see through the vehement, for the expenditure of the National Independent Electoral Commission, so that they'll be able to pass it. Because without that budget, I can tell you for free that we might not have the 2019 elections.
Yes, we will not have elections, or we will be forced to push elections so that we can, do what is properly what we should do by the constitution and by the law. Because it's not just about reconvening. Now they also have to sit. They will go through the budget, like you said. It's not checked.
Yeah, we have Umar from Adamawa State. Hello, Umar. Good morning.
Good morning, crew. Big TV crew.
Yeah, thank you. Please turn down the volume of your TV set, and then you can go ahead with your contribution, please.
Yeah. In regards to the topic at hand discussing right now.
Yeah.
I want to just say that Saraki's seat is not under any threat. What is under any threat now is our democracy. Because we knew that right from the inception of the National Assembly officers, we discovered that Saraki played a good politics there, and he emerged as the Senate President, which was not in the interest of the executives. Now, we also look at APC as a political party. They failed to put their house together, and now they are reaping what they saw. because, you know, if you have a injury and you fail to treat that injury early, it will begin to develop to another thing else. I think that is what happened to APC. They fighting with the National Assembly instead of bringing Saraki close to discover what is the way forward that we do in order to harmonize as a political party. Let us work together. What is the problem? They failed to do that on fighting with Saraki, and they are now repeating what they saw. I'm telling you, Nigeria today, nobody, constitutionally, nobody can unseat Saraki. The best thing for APC to do now is to think of how can we canvass for all the things. I have said on this platform last week that as far as governors are in the same page with their senators or their reps, a lot of defection will still see. And I think you have seen it with your own eyes. You have heard it. Now, I am saying this again this morning, that see, if APC fails to reconcile themselves in-house, then they will reap what they saw. And now Saraki has went ahead to re-strategize before the 25th of when they come back from their recess. In fact, more fire APC will see. They have not seen anything yet. Now, you know, one of the best politicians I ever respect in Africa, not in Nigeria, because this man knows what he's into. He's not into any other than politics. And you know, if somebody is telling you that, you see, this one can go, no problem. The other one can go. Not people like Saraki, not people like Tambawa. You understand? There are people that when they go out to any platform, they will still come back as leaders. So I want to believe that the National Assembly, they knew what they are into, and APC, they don't know what they are into. They seat Saraki, and it's unfortunate. The labor man, they think politics is labor. It's unfortunate for him. He brought this card. They asked for labor, how to emerge as a labor union leader. He want to think that he can apply it in politics. It's bigger than that. Politics, labor, he should know. You understand? So I would advise Oshimole to go back and rethink, to strategize against 2019, because Saraki already is done with 2019. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for stopping by this morning. Yeah, he made a very profound statement, Daniel. He said there are some politicians that once they move, they can win election anywhere. And we also see, you know, that same comment coming from the Senate President, Bukola Saraki, that in whatever platform, they will always win an election. If you look at all of the permutations, you can only sit back and say, okay, let's wait and see how 2019 is going to be.
Well, he said it, and we saw a lot of things happen at his defection. You know, the entire structure of a state, you know, moved with the man. But let's just hope that this whole clouds of losing his seats goes down.
All right, we have Victor from Otukpo. Hello, Victor. Good morning.
Good morning, please.
Hello, Victor.
Yeah. Hey, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Please go ahead with your contribution.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Well, my thinking is that democracy is not equal to Saraki's seat. If there is a need, a national need now for the Senate to reconvene, the Senate should reconvene. The Senate is not about Saraki. The impeachment thing is set. What we need now is to pass a budget for our elections to hold as appropriate. You know, elections are an integral part of democracy. If we do not hold elections and when you are surely going to have a threat to our democracy. Whether Saraki will be impeached or not is secondary. If Saraki is not there, can also take the seat. So the fear of Saraki's impeachment should not hold the National Assembly from doing that they ought to do. So my thinking is that there should be a reconvening the National Assembly for the purpose of considering the budget for INEC. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Victor. Very precise and very straight. Yeah, I think he is of the view that if there are issues, you know, of national interest, I think the National Assembly should reconvene rather than trying to, you know, build the world of defense around one single individual.
It's very true, which we have seen in this budget that has been this environment that has been put forward. It's clearly national interest. It's clearly for the elections, which concerns all of us Nigerians, because it's next year. But we also know that there are a little bit of undertones to this. But whatever the undertones are, let them meet first. Let them, you know, sit down. And because on this matter, Pius, we've heard lots of legal luminary, very experienced lawyers and constitutional lawyers as well, who have said you cannot impeach Saraki with anything less than two-third majority. The recent person who has spoken is Femi Falana, San, renowned lawyer who knows his onion, and it's come out to say Saraki has nothing to fear, except he's not sure of the Senate, or he doesn't have, or there are up to two-third people that can remove him. Okay,
we have Abubakar from Suleja. Hello, Abubakar. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, please go ahead with your contribution.
My from Suleja, my contribution to this about the Saraki issue is not an issue. If Saraki has the nation at heart, let me come back and tell this nation the budget being sent to them. Let them please that one. That one is a minor something. For the election, we will know who is the winner. But it cannot. It's not yet time for them to go for the research. They just went. Are they doing it for the sake, or they are doing it for the sake of the nation? If they are doing it for the sake of the nation, why should they go? There's a program. People are waiting for this election. That's why here are the problem of this nation. And they are saying no, they are not the problem. Who is the problem now? Is it not Saraki and his member?
Okay.
Good morning. That's my own contribution.
Thank you very much, Abubakar. Daniel, you're trying to say.
You know, so now that it has been, we have a reason, you know, to call them to reconvene. They should reconvene, because I do not think the Senate President should be scared of anything, except he's not sure of his men. But don't forget that at least the PDP that constitutes a large number of the House will be for him, which means that the APC alone cannot form the quorum of two-third majority to oust Saraki. So legally and constitutionally, there's I don't think there's any problem. Don't forget also that the Constitution did not say.
Okay, we have a caller from Lagos. Hello, good morning. Thanks for joining us, Richard.
Good morning.
Yeah, please go ahead with your contribution.
Okay, I'm interested in what's going on in Nigeria because I'm a this country. The issue with Saraki, none of them are my heroes. Hello?
Go ahead, we're with you. Just turn down the volume of your TV set.
None of them are my heroes because they are all fighting for their political survival.
Okay.
In this country, and they're interested in the development of this country, they should reconvene the National Assembly. The National Assembly is not a private property. It is the entities of this country that have sent them there. There's a clarion call that each and every one of them should reconvene, so they can consider the budget that has been set to them. Free and fair election coming up next year. And then this election, each of them can now state to prove their worth. All this they are decamping from right to left, from left to right. Okay. They should not hold this country into ransom. So I advise them, and as a tax-paying citizen of this country, that the interest of this nation should be first and foremost because it's mine, and not playing politics with the destiny of this nation. I wish Nigeria well, that Nigeria will prosper. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Williams, for those very encouraging words coming from you all the way from Lagos. We say a very big thank you for stopping by. I think Williams is very optimistic that you know, Nigeria will definitely be blessed and all of that. We are blessed already. It's just our ability to be able to harness all of our blessings and natural resources, you know, and then championing a cause forward for this generation and the generation yet unborn. I think that's the area that we are really lacking. Yeah, back to our discourse. Daniel, don't forget that on Wednesday also some group of senators met with the president, and one of the key story we heard from there was that Saraki must go. You know, APC leaders meet Buhari, call for resumption of NAS. You know, and that happened on Wednesday. The All Progressives Congress and some senators on Wednesday in Abuja met with President Muhammadu Buhari at the presidential villa Abuja. Speaking to State House correspondent, after the closed door meeting, Senate leader Ahmed Lawal called for, okay, we have a caller from Kaduna. Hello, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, please go ahead with your contribution.
Hello?
Yeah, good morning. Please turn down the volume of your TV set and go ahead with your contribution, please.
Okay, if it was to be the case of Saraki and the APC, we are talking of national interest here. The government in place, during the days, the right of they are truncating the life of the legislation. They don't see it at anything. But right now, we're not talking of the APC government or this. For me, Saraki is not bigger than Nigeria. Sure. I'm not a fan of any of them. But we should, you know, for national interest, let them come back and reconvene so that 2019 budget can be passed. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Chike, for stopping by all the way from Kaduna State. Yes, Daniel, I was trying to reel out what the Senate leader said, talking about Ahmed Lawal, where he was charging the National Assembly to reconvene and to ensure, you know, the passage of the supplementary budget submitted to it by President Buhari. According to him, it is necessary for the National Assembly to reconvene so as to look into the various requests. So it's not just one, but various requests made by the president as he begins his 10 working days vacation on August 3. The president is already on his vacation. But if you look at all of this, you know, he reassured that APC as a party will continue to consult, unite and solidify the nation. But in all of this, you will look at it and say, okay, what exactly is happening? Now look at what Lawal said. Lawal said the APC remains the majority in the Senate. We have 53 senators. We reeled out their names, and the states, though the other side are claiming they are 60, 70, but they have never given a name. All right, we have a caller, Salisu from Gombe State. Samson from Gombe State. Hello, yes. Samson.
Hello, I'm hearing you.
Yeah, good morning. Please turn down the volume of your TV set and go ahead with your contribution, please.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. Yes, if you're talking about the issue of Saraki, it's not a matter of the Saraki. It's executive arm of the government. They just want to discuss Saraki. But for the interest of this nation, I will also please all the senators, let them come back. Issue of this INEC. Let them have their budget. But I want to APC chairman, Adam Oshunwole, because he just want to frustrate Saraki to come down. And thank God for Mr. Femi Falana. They have said about this issue. Whether they like it or not, they can't impeach Saraki. Yes. Because this APC government, if you are not in APC, you are not a good man. I don't know what is happening in this country. So they have to whether they not get an opposition person. That's very true.
Right,
so I
thank you very much for stopping by all the way from Gombe State. Samson is aligning himself with the legal luminary, talking about Femi Falana, a human rights activist and also a lawyer, you know, saying that the National Assembly cannot, the Senate cannot impeach Bukola Saraki. Even though I've not gone through that statement, but I don't know what parameters he gave. But for him to come out to hold that position, that means the Senate President, I think for me, should have nothing to fear.
Yes, and also, Pius, don't forget that the Constitution does not say that the majority party has to produce the Senate President. No. It just says the person that has the majority. Do you understand? So it means that if a minority can play his card well.
Sorry, Daniel. We have Pius from Kaduna. Bayo from Kaduna. Hello, Bayo.
Yes, I'm with you, sir.
Yeah. Good morning. Please turn down the volume of your TV set and then go ahead with your contribution.
Good morning, sir. I want to appreciate you for your program this morning.
Okay, go ahead.
I always take it in the morning. Please, the issue of Saraki, I want us to be very careful and to also look at it from the other side. Now, the government is asking Saraki to return to the Senate and pass the budget. What was Buhari looking? What was he looking at? Since 4 years ago, when the president won the election, he knows that another election will be conducted 4 years after. They reduce the environment, they reduce the spend, all the things, they know just one penny is there, and they spend to track spending. Right? Now they are now shouting that the person that want to discuss the election is spending, knowing fully well that they are playing a game and they are setting the price for the spending. Now, what is the guarantee? All the lawyers have spoken that they cannot increase guarantee, they cannot do. But a government that can go and block any president, a government that can go and block the president just in the morning in order for the House leader, for the majority leader to take over and increase guarantee, they can do anything. And I guess if this anything is conveyed this House, there will be a serious problem. And most of the lawyers will not be all their report can go to court, and they will be in court on all these I just want us to look at this, and I want please to advise the president of the President Buhari to press caution and to know that this democracy, whatever he does today, tomorrow will be used against him. Enjoying a sort of and why are they saying this controversy, tomorrow controversy, next tomorrow controversy? So see, in fact, why the president travel when there is a problem? Why can't he call the senators, call Saraki, okay, let's put our different apart and call them and talk to them and see to that resolve this problem before he go for his party. So please, I want us to also look at it and stop doubting most of the people that are calling and Saraki. Saraki contributes immensely to this government coming to power. And now we are trying to insinuate you are not making this deal and you are asking in the money of coming back. I'm sure if they block some of Saraki senators from getting entrance to the Senate and allow it to go to the Senate, now Buhari already have they have minority. So even in the absence of the Senate and the president of the Senate, they can take over and they will do what they like. And the ministry, thank you.
All right, Bayo, thank you very much for calling all the way from Kaduna. I think, Daniel, for the want of time, let's just see how we can go through our newspapers, and we have blueprints. Very quickly, we have blueprints. Below the masthead, Akpabio to dump PDP few days after receiving APC senators. Akpabio to dump PDP few days after receiving APC senators. Visit Buhari in London. He's welcome on board, Lai Mohammed. All right, we'll see a picture story there. 9 NYSC members drown in Taraba. Reconvene NAS, presidency begs Saraki Dogara. That story is on page 6. There are paper weights. That's APC. And then to my far right, APC plans 50 million naira per senator bribe. That's alleged by the RAPC. And APC saying, count us out, we won't waste taxpayers' funds. Then we have trafficking. Rescued boy seeks scholarship, reject reunion with parents. Rescue boy seeks scholarship, reject reunion with parents. The picture story there, Senator Akpabio almost going on his knees, greeting the president. NACOM cautions pilgrims against fraudsters. Airlift 14,160 pilgrimage. Why Kano Deputy Governor resign? Kogi NAS members petition Buhari over security. Adeosun Gate. Finance Minister stays off social media. Libya, 9,438 Nigerians so far repatriated. That's coming from the presidency. And on the back page, blame Buharist if the man loses in 2019. And then Mourinho needs to work out issues with Woodward. That's coming from Kenya. Right, that's how much time will permit us on the show today, Daniel. It's time for us to go so that we can bring the news to our viewing public. Thank you very much for stopping by today. Daniel, we want to say your goodbyes.
Yes, it's been a beautiful show. Thank you very much for letting us into your homes, your offices, wherever you're watching from. Just know that we'll continue to keep you abreast with everything that has been happening or that will be happening in the coming days. You can always log on to PTV and get all of the information as they drop.
Yeah, until we hit your screen, same time tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock will be the time. Stay out of trouble. And remember, it's the rainy season. Ensure you don't block waterways. My name still remains Pius Samuel, and thanks for watching.
On Facebook, like our page and share our posts at People's TV NG. On Twitter, follow us at PTV_NG. Follow us on Instagram at PTVNG. Watch and subscribe to our YouTube channel, People's TV. Visit our website, www.ptvng.com. Subscribe now and join the conversation online. People's TV, people's preferred station.
Did you know that PTV remains the best place to showcase those lovely goods and services of yours? Yes, with our visibility in 36 states of Nigeria and over 50 countries of the world, we definitely have the tallest reach. What are you waiting for? Book your adverts now. Call us with the number displayed on your screen.
You're watching People's Television, your people's preferred station, powered by you.
African soldiers helping Nigerian forces fight Boko Haram.
We will have to persuade Nigerian legislators.
This is coming together of people who are engaged.
Executive order should comply with the law.
I personally dissociate myself completely. Personally.
From this interview, because you have said
there had hardly been any administration.
No religious body in Nigeria validate the claims by the INEC chairman. It is.
Ours is a country of vast tropical and equatorial woodlands with arid deserts to extensive savanna grasslands, expansive mountains, immense rivers, numerous waterfalls, and mystical forests. Nigeria has it all. It is a place of rhythm, of dance, of music, of festivals, of tradition and culture, of spectacular color, of glamour, and a country of 200 million smiles. And home to a unique people of incomparable passion. A country blessed with breathtaking landscapes. Home to some of the most diverse equatorial flora and fauna species on the earth. Nigeria is the undisputed welcoming heart of Africa. We have 521 unique ethno-linguistic groups. The world's newest and organic language, Pidgin, the world's oldest structural sign language, Hausa Sign Language. In addition to the world's oldest continuous market, the 600-year-old Kurmi market, which is situated within the ancient northern city of Kano, where 1,000-year-old city walls can still be found intact to this day. Nigeria has unique and ancient cultures, traditions and customs, and is steeped in spirituality, with as many Muslims as Christians. We also boast the world's oldest systematic religious philosophical system in Ifa, also known as Afa, and practiced as Santeria, Candomblé, Palo, Ubanda, and Voodoo, and in various countries around the world. Nigeria is also home to the world's oldest purpose-built boat, the 8,500-year-old Ifuna canoe. Nigeria is the home of African sports, both ancient and modern, and has always been the beating heart of African football, which has gifted the world with some of the most dynamic and creative football players of all time. Gifted the world with music and artists such as the late Fela Kuti, King Sunny Ade, Seal, and many international performing artists, including Dame Shirley Bassey and Shadi Adu. Our country has also gifted the world with giants of African literature and poetry. Nigeria is a country on the move, a country of hard-working people and industrious and creative people. Our film industry, known as Nollywood, produces more movies in one day than Hollywood produces in 2 weeks, and is the place of thousands of stars and of millions of wonderfully welcoming, warm people. We are a country of kings, of queens, businessmen, and businesswomen. A place of vast sprawling game parks, a country where African traditions have always been first. A country of drums, of colors, culture, of festivals, of music, of rhythm, and art. This is Nigeria. There is simply nothing quite like it.
To, da kai da ke da ita da shi da kowa nake so na yi magana da. Me ke faruwa? Kana son karuwa ga ka zaune bakin rijiya amma kana jin kishin ruwa? Gangan jikin siyasa. In ta dangwala ka dangwala na dangwala. Ina amfanin ana yi ba da kai ba? A turancin Najeriya to an gaya maka. No sit down look. Kana sit down kana looking komai na ƙara lalacewa? Ina ka ga daman ƙorafi? Da masu jini a jika ake yi, watan matasa. Kwankwasa a buɗa ki shige, dago ka shaki iska ko kalime, da ƙyar ka sha yafi da ƙyar aka kama ka. No sit down look. Matasa ke siyasa. Yin rajista, karɓi katin zaɓe yana da amfani ƙwarai kwa.
No sit down look.
No sit down look.
No sit down look.
Make una no sit down look o.
Ni ne mai suna Tukur Sani daga Kajuru local government a Kufana. Gaskiya mu a garin nan Kufana community duka muka taro muka zauna muka yi meeting game da matsalan hanyar nan, wannan rafin nan mun kai kuka a wajen hakimi da shi hakimi ya ce to wannan matakin nan shi zai rubuta ya kai ma local government. Daga wurin kuma sai member na skip wani kungiya ne na zaman kanta, shi ma wani member ya zo ya shigo da wannan budget na wannan gadan nan tun da dadewa, amma har yanzu ba mu samu cin gaba game da wannan hanyar ba. Har ila yau muna kan rubuta letoti, mun ma rubuta leta waɗanda sun mafi so 10. This is how we in Kufana, Kajuru local government, Kaduna state, no sit down look.
Skin. It's a fact of life. Your skin ages just like the rest of you. It's constantly exposed to the elements of the punishing sun and heat, to the beating cold and wind. It's impressive to know that it holds up as well as it does. Through the years, the largest organ in the human body weathers, sunburns, acne, stretching, and more without complaints. Your skin performs several critical roles. It keeps your body temperature regulated, protects you from infections and injury, filters impurity for you as well as retains your body moisture. But those duties exact a price. Loss of elasticity topping the charts. Others are thinning skin, dry and cracked skin, wrinkles, blemishes, and spots are frequently signs of aging skin. Nonetheless, it is possible to desire and actually keep a young and youthful skin much longer than you thought. Simply follow these tips. Wash your body regularly, at least twice a day, morning and night. If you have oily skin, you may need to wash more than twice a day to remove the cream of the day. Never sleep with makeup on. Deep clean all of it, especially eye makeup, as it gradually introduces the unwanted wrinkles and discoloration. Also, insist on the right cleanser for your skin type. The natural cleansers are always the best. Avoid chemical cleansers, they can traumatize your skin. Skip long, hot showers and bath as they can dry out your skin. Use warm water only. Protect your skin from the sun as it aids rapid aging of your skin. Wear protective covers when going out on the sunny day, such as long sleeves, hats, and even sunglasses. Stay hydrated. Drinking water is essentially good for your body, including the skin. Women should aim at 2.2 liters of water, and men 3 liters per day. Avoid alcohol and artificial sweetened drinks. They dry out your skin. Beef up your meals with omega-3 fatty acid meals such as fish, walnuts, and soybeans. Lower stress level. Stress can cause a lot of acne breakouts on your skin, especially your face. Learn to relax your stress level by working on your mind, killing anxiety and depression with therapeutic exercises such as yoga, walks. Your skin pore opens and breathes better when you exercise. A little meditation helps. Sleep. Nothing beats a good sleep as rejuvenating your skin. A minimum of 6 and maximum of 8 hours of sleep aids not just your skin but your body to keep a youthful look.
Emergencies happen, but a lot of times emergencies can be avoided if we apply a little more care in all our dealings, at home, on the road, in public places, and even our offices. At the close of work, do you take your time to turn off all your electrical appliances? Check and double-check all switches to ensure they are turned off before going home. This is not a bad habit to form. Apart from conserving electrical energy and cost, it goes a long way in protecting lives and property. Check all electrical outlets at home and at work before going out. Yes, even your phone chargers. Disconnect them. No electrical current is little. A stitch in time saves 9.
5 keys to keeping your child on a healthy weight level. Be a good role model. Children learn by example, and so you must set good examples such as eating at the right time and the right quantity and quality, coupled with good exercise time. Get active. Overweight children do not
Hello and welcome to PTV Today. My name is Lilian Ogazi. Senate Minority Leader Godswill Akpabio has met President Muhammadu Buhari in London. This is coming 4 days to the widely reported defection of the former Akwa Ibom State Governor from the People's Democratic Party. Akpabio had earlier met Vice President Yemi Osinbajo on Thursday, after which news of his planned defection emerged. That meeting was facilitated by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on National Assembly Matters, Ita Enang, who defected to the ruling party in 2015. The PDP chieftain also met APC National Leader Bola Asiwaju before his London meeting with the holidaying president. Akpabio's planned defection is scheduled to hold at the Kodekbene Township Stadium in Akwa Ibom on Thursday. Moving on, the presidency has again appealed to the National Assembly to reconvene treat pending matters needing urgent attention. The Senior Special Assistant to the President in National Assembly Matters, Ita Enang, made this plea in Lagos during an interaction with newsmen. He listed some of the pending urgent issues at the National Assembly to include the approval of a supplementary budget to fund the 2018 budget and the 2019 general elections. The approval of a supplementary budget, according to Enang, will enable INEC commence preparations for the 2019 polls. Also pending are key appointments for the Deputy CBN Governor, AMCON, the EFCC and the ICPC. The Northern Women Assembly, NWA, has raised an alarm over the increasing use of hard drugs by women in Kano and Katsina states. The NWA President Aisha Hussaini identified peer pressure and frustration as the reason for the increase in drug abuse. According to her, the rate of drug abuse among women in the two states have surpassed men. She also suggested a collaboration between the government and private organizations as the best way to combat the menace. And in Benue State, troops on a military exercise tagged Operation Wellstroke have dislodged armed militia men in Guma local government area of Benue State. The security operation was said to have been carried out along Bajamba-Ako axis of the council area. Army spokesman Brigadier General Texas Chukwu disclosed in a statement that several armed gunmen were killed but did not give a figure. He added that others escaped with gunshot wounds. Items recovered include one AK-47 rifle, 2 AK-47 rifle magazines, and 60 rounds of 7.3mm ammunition and 5 motorcycles. Still on Nigerian insurgency, a wanted Boko Haram suspect Maje Lawan has been arrested by troops of Operation Lafia Dole. Lawan is said to be the 96th person listed on the wanted list published by the Nigerian Army some years ago. The suspect was arrested after he was said to have infiltrated an internally displaced persons camp in Banki area of Borno State. A statement released by the Director, Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Texas Chukwu, reveals that the suspect is undergoing preliminary investigation and will soon be handed over to the appropriate authorities. Still Still on Nigerian insurgency, Nigerian fighter jets have successfully conducted air raid on Boko Haram hideout in Daban Masara in Borno State. The location of the airstrike is in the vicinity of the Lake Chad, where the insurgents are said to have put up structures. Air Force spokesman Air Commodore Ibikunle Daramola said the air raid was conducted based on credible intelligence. The targets were around the southern part of the lake. Following the recent police protest in Maiduguri by mobile police personnel, there is now an assurance that the outstanding allowances will be paid. The police authorities have finalized arrangements to pay all outstanding allowances of operatives on special assignments in Borno State. Commissioner of Police Damian Chukwu made this known during an interactive session at the command headquarters in Maiduguri, the state capital. He used the occasion to also remind them that the ban on public procession is still in force in the state and that the police will not be hesitant to enforce the law on persons and groups who breach it. Moving on, the federal government has invested over 300 billion naira on road reconstruction and rehabilitation across the country. This, according to the Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, is part of efforts to revamp the country's infrastructure. He said at a retreat for senior staff that there had never been a retreat like this to keep them abreast on some critical federal government projects. The Permanent Secretary, Louis Edozien, who was represented by his Director of Procurement, also explained the basis for the retreat.
There was no national housing program in place 3 years ago, and that today there is a national housing program where we are building in 34 states.
The retreat is to provide an opportunity for senior management of the ministry to develop team working skills, motivational and positive attitudes required to manage the important national sectors we supervise more effectively.
And on the foreign scene, a suicide bomber has killed 3 shares NATO soldiers in an attack in eastern Afghanistan. NATO officials said in a statement that the victims were targeted on a routine foot patrol alongside Afghan forces. A U.S. soldier and 2 Afghan soldiers were wounded in the attack in Karika, the capital of Pawan province. Taliban militants have claimed they carried out the bombing. Czech's Prime Minister Andres Bazes has meanwhile paid tribute in a Twitter post to the 3 Czech soldiers on Sunday, hailing them as heroes and sending his condolences to their family. You're on to PTV today. We shall be going on a quick break. We'll return. More stories will come your way. Please stay. You're welcome back. Now, news just reaching us from our own local scene says the Deputy Governor of Akwa Ibom State, Pa Moses Ekpo, has reportedly resigned his position as the state's number 2 citizen. He's also reported to moving with Senator Godswill Akpabio, immediate past governor of the state, to the All Progressive Congress APC this week. According to the News Agency of Nigeria, though the resignation has not been confirmed officially by the Akwa Ibom state government, but an APC media organization at APC Newspaper has tweeted that Ekpo, the oldest deputy governor in Nigeria, has tendered his resignation letter. And now back to our foreign scene. Armed men on Saturday night attacked a convoy of cars carrying the U.S. envoy to Bangladesh in the capital, Dhaka. Ambassador Marcia Benikat and her security team were able to get away unharmed, but 2 cars were damaged. It comes as thousands of students and school children continued a week-long protest calling for safer roads. Police have fired tear gas to disperse the crowds. Dozens of protesters have also been injured in street attacks. The U.S. ambassador condemned the violence against the peaceful protesters on Sunday. And in North Korea's foreign minister has called U.S. actions alarming as tensions over the North's nuclear program again flared. Ri Yong-ho was responding to comments by U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, who urged other countries to keep up sanctions pressure on Pyongyang. A landmark summit between the two sides in Singapore in June saw the North agree to work towards denuclearization. But details remain vague, and the UN says its nuclear program continues. At the regional forum also in Singapore, Pompeo said it was important to maintain diplomatic and economic pressure on North Korea to achieve the final, fully verified denuclearization. And in Switzerland, up to 20 people are feared dead after a World War II vintage aircraft crashed into a Swiss mountainside. The plane, a Junker Ju-52HB Hot, can carry up to 17 passengers and 3 crew. Local media says it was fully booked when it took off on Saturday. Operator Drew Air said he was saddened by the news, and it had set up a helpline for relatives. It has suspended all flights until further notice. The cause of the crash is yet unknown. An eyewitness told Swiss newspaper that the plane turned 180 degrees to the south and fell to the ground like a stone. Police have given few details but have confirmed the crash, saying the aircraft came down on a mountainside about 2,540 meters above sea level. And that's it here on PTV News this hour. Many thanks for watching. I am Lilian Ogazi. Do stay on PTV.
Need more exercise than the slimmer children. Their extra body weight means they will naturally burn more calories for the same activity. Child-sized food portions. Avoid feeding your child oversized portions. A good rule of thumb is to start meals with small servings and let them ask for more if they are still hungry. Eat healthy meals. Children, just like adults, should aim at 5 or more portions of fruits and vegetables every day. It is far better than the sugar-laden snacks we give them. Let them replace their carbonated drinks with water. Fizzy drinks are dangerous to their weights. Sleep. Let the children watch less TV and take in more sleep. Yes, this helps with weight loss management. Children should watch not more than 2 hours of TV a day, including the films from phones. They dream better when they sleep well. Besides, insufficient sleep can affect their behavior or mood.
Hello, my name is Dr. Christopher Otabo, consultant orthopedic and trauma surgeon. In the next few minutes, I'd like to talk to you about your health and safety. Several thousands of Nigerians are killed annually from road traffic accidents, others maimed. Most of these accidents are preventable if we follow the following basic precautions. Avoid driving under the influence of alcohol. It alters your sense of judgment. Avoid overspeeding. You cannot control your vehicle should any unexpected event occur. Avoid distracted driving, such as taking a call, texting, or watching a video while behind the steering wheels. If you feel sleepy while driving, stop and take a short nap before continuing your journey. It could save your life and those of others. Do not drive if you have epilepsy or other health conditions that makes driving risky. Avoid overloading your vehicle. It makes control difficult. Make sure your tires are in good shape and your brakes and horns are functioning perfectly. Now your destiny is in your own hands. If you follow the precautions I just outlined, you will get home safely to be with your family. Otherwise, you could end up with me here or with them there.
oval in shape with a pronounced bulge on one end. Lemons are the most versatile fruits around and contains a high level of vitamins. The juicy yellow fleshy fruit is a little too sour to eat on its own, but its citrus fragrance and tartness aids its combination with all manner of ingredients and dishes, from the sweet to the savory. The lemon is a blessing to mankind, as its uses and application varies from department to department. Starting with the morning, a glass of water laced with lemon is a great way to start your day, as it boosts your energy. Lemon water provides your body with lots of hydrating electrolytes in the form of potassium, calcium, and magnesium, and aids our bodies push out toxins. Lemon water helps our bodies with digestion angst through the citric acid contained in the lemon. This acid interacts with various enzymes in the body and stimulates the secretion of gastric juice, as well as help the liver to produce more enzymes for better functionality achieved by liver cleansing. Lemon water aids in the fight against sore throat, tonsils inflammation, constipation, and general body metabolism. You may be surprised to note that the intake of lemon actually does a whole lot to your system as well as your skin. The fight against acne is best fought with lemon as a weapon. The lemon peel is another wonder on its own and must not be thrown away. It contains lots of nutrients, 5 to 10 times more than the juice itself. It is an excellent source of fiber, potassium, beta-carotene, calcium folate, and more, and so can aid in preventing arthritis, rheumatoid, arthritis, osteoporosis, oxidative stress. It helps fight cancer too. Lemon has other daily uses for mankind beside health. Its alluring scent and antibacterial effect makes it an excellent underarm deodorant. The use of lemon for skin scrubs help extensively in removing blemish and a large degree rejuvenates the skin, even the complexion. With tough stain, lemons come in handy with enzymes in their acids that are strong enough to whiten everything, from our teeth to your new cotton cloth. Little wonder, most store-bought cleansing products are always laced with a bit of lemon. This nature gift is all around us and so cheap. Why not make the most of it?
People of Nigeria, I hear say they don't back Odin. From my side, it's good though as the banamo, because even human being, you no go to the drink Odin. Oh, I beg, it's good, make a banner. We don't want them again.
A lot of Nigeria youth that have been taken into codeine have caused a lot of havoc to them, even to the society in general.
The recent ban of codeine is very amazing because that will help the Nigerian youths to face the reality and know what they're doing. Because of then, man, people are taking this codeine and they'll be very slow, they can't even help themselves out. But now that it's banned, I think they have no way to find any excuse, so they will come out, do the right thing at the right time and work for themselves.
I feel happy about the ban of codeine in Nigeria because it has caused so many harms to our youth out there. They over-abuse it. For those it may affect, they can go for other alternative of cough syrup. It's not only codeine that is in Nigeria that is cough syrup.
To some extent, it's okay. In the sense that the abuse is getting out of hand. You see people taking codeine as if they are drinking water, which is causing health hazards to most of us. That, I say, is not good. But think about it the other way around. I need codeine to cure me of one ailment or the other. And for me to go and get it now from the pharmacy becomes a problem because it's banned. So what do you do now? So before the government will come out to say this and that, I think it should be better for government to find out the root cause of why these guys or these little ones, not even guys this time, even women, even politicians, they do it, they take it. Find out why they are doing it, especially those guys outside. Then try to sort out that problem so that it will stop. If you say you ban it, the effect will be on almost everybody. But if you find out the root cause of why they are doing it, it will help us better.
I think the recent ban of codeine is one of the most positive things this government has done so far. And it's a very, very good thing because it will actually curtail drug abuse. Because if you look at Kano and Lagos State right now, they're among the highest abusers of drug, and Katsina State is a very good thing for the youth, and it will definitely grow the level of efficiency and self-sustenance in the country.
Is it not even better that we have a corrupt man who know what we, the youth of Nigeria, want? Trump, as you are saying, Trump is corrupt. Now he's the best president so far. Look at the economy of USA. When the government, you understand, is afraid of the citizen, there is liberty, love, development. But in a situation whereby the citizen is afraid of the government, that is that tyranny. Nigeria is this is tyranny, era of tyranny. You understand? And you cannot take it away. As far as we Nigerians are concerned, Abacha is one of the best presidents we have, and Obasanjo, you understand? And Obasanjo, all these people are corrupt. So is it not better we even have people who they said is corrupt that will come and solve our problem in this country than people who say that they are sent, that things are not moving? Our economy is shut down, many things is shut down, nothing is working. So what are we now saying?
What we are passing through in Nigeria is in fact, is not what we expected. You understand? Even so the Nigerian that voted for, because personally myself, I never voted for Buhari for one day. My vote was not casted for him because I know him right from history. When we were in Lagos, then there was a massive unemployment. Then there was no job. People suffer to eat. Then that was why I didn't give him one vote. And I am telling you, this one, I am not giving him one single vote. My community is not giving him one single vote.
Forget about people who see themselves as if they are the ones to decide. He said he's not going to vote for Buhari. That is left for him. He cannot say his community will not vote for Buhari because he don't know even his brother, his immediate brother, will like Buhari more than he did. You understand? That is how you think. We must pass through a wilderness to get to the promised land. What PDP has been doing to this country is only God. If you give them that chance again, we will derail. We'll get back to where we have been into. Eh? So we better suffer it now and our future restored. This government came
on the promise that they are going to make Nigeria better. And on discovering, they discovered that there are a lot of messes, which to clean up that messes, it will not take 1 or 2 years, or even 3 years, or one single term. That means, I mean, 4 years in government. But I discovered that by giving the government more time, maybe about 8 years or more, we can now start crediting them that yes, they've done this, they've done that. But for the past 3 years of this government, apart from the insecurity that is caused by our own people here in the north central of the Middle Belt extraction, I discovered that yes, this man is really, and the party is really doing well for our people.
The Buhari government is one of the best government we've witnessed. One, Buhari have plan for our generation yet unborn. And Buhari is one we reserve our voters card for till 2023 before we decide who will enter the villa. Because some of us that bring Buhari there, we are still backing Buhari till 2023, and we are happy with his government. The people, the cabinet of Buhari government is people we want. They are intelligent, they are very intelligent, and they are doing what we want. They are protecting our interests, the interest of our generation yet unborn. And our church, we mobilize people, we urge people, we appeal to you to reserve the voters card and continue with Buhari. Thank you, Nigeria.
I don't believe so. Since how many years now? Where? Today I've been there. It's supposed to take a They are going see many of them. It's a typical lie. Many of those that are even defected, how many of them have value in their state? Wait now. Wait, come on. Those that are defective. Those that are defective. Those are defective. How much are they valuing in their home?
Everybody know Saraki is a PDP from day one. You understand? And in politics, everybody will take, because what I really believe is that if you come back, you want to be a Senate president again, and which cannot be. Even this present Senate president that is doing, assuming South or Southeast, they have Senate from APC. One will march as Senate president because we have 3 regions in Nigeria: Yoruba, Hausa, and Igbo. You get what I'm saying? Now, I do negotiation with APC that if they come back, are they going to give him Senate president? Which answer is no. Do you understand? And it discussed with the PDP, where I can see the soft landing. And I believe that was the reason why he moved to PDP.
We know quite well that Saraki is a master planner. He's a game planner. He came in as Senate president without the authority of the party, the APC, interested in him to be the Senate president. But he used his abracadabra, sort of, to come in as Senate president. And since then, this government has never seen the light of the day, because it's like it's one leg in PDP, another leg in the APC since he came in. That's what we have been witnessing. That is why this government is not moving forward. Let's tell ourselves the truth and the blatant truth. The government is not moving forward because an opposition is in the party, is within the system, within the party. Anything the executive wants to do, the Senate will not want to approve it. So it's causing some delay. There are a lot of problems.
You know, Nigeria politics, little by little, will get it right. To me, Nigeria, we are just celebrating the capitalists, the achievers. You understand me?
We are not celebrating the ideology. Any person that come to this country telling Nigeria where to go, the way forward, become the enemy of Nigeria. You understand me? When they are forming APC, we are all clapping that, oh, we are expecting a better change. We know where we are, and then today everybody can set the level that.
When Senate President emerged as a Senate President, since then the journey have not been sweet for him. He said it when the Supreme Court declared him acquitted, that since started this administration with APC, things have they don't allow you to work. And 75% all the APC members know that the way this man is doing is not a real card member of APC. But now I remember, but I cannot remember that proverb very well. When I read on Awu, said that the difference between water and oil, when the time comes, the water will go is right, while the oil will go the left. So that is it's time for him to leave, because go back to Kwara State too. The environment is not conducive for him. Even Federal too, the environment is not conducive for him. Let him go back to the Poverty Development Party, because almost about 16 years they don't do us well in this country. So even youth, there's some youth now, they'll be mobilizing, they'll be shouting PDP. I'll just be looking at them, be laughing, because you worship wet. You forget our future. If you want to see a sample now, let somebody just bring 2,000 or 1,000 here now. If they say change. If you get the person give another PDP come, other party come, they say the same thing. Where are we going?
The Senate President camping from the president, from his former party to the present party, which is PDP. What I have to say about that issue is that, so many people, they are looking at his faults. Some are blowing their grammar, bringing out their philosophies, one philosophy or the other, and they are blaming him. The question we Nigeria have to ask ourselves about this issue is that when you see somebody running away from one place to another, you should ask yourself, why is this person running away? Either the place he's staying is no longer favoring him, or the place he's staying is being well corrupt, that he cannot endure in that place, and that is why he has run from that place to another place. Now, the Senate President has run away from APC. Then the issue now is, what is APC doing? What is APC contributing? Which help is APC giving to we Nigerians at the moment? That is the question we need to ask ourselves.
The defection of Senate President is expected, you understand, because a situation whereby some people are using to certain ideology of investing, paddling and sorts of things, you understand. If they don't feel the same where they are, if the house did not contain them, they will leave it. It's like you leave Ghana to Nigeria and you discover that the problem you are facing in Nigeria is more than what is happening in Ghana. You will go back to where you were coming from, you understand. These people we are talking about, they are PDP in APC. They call them G7 those days, and they match with APC to come to the government. Some of them are even thinking within themselves they are very powerful. I want to tell you today is false. Look at Muazu Babangida Aliyu, the Taliban of former governor of Niger State. He was the former governor of PDP Forum. Where is he today? He even lost his senatorial election, you understand. People like Saraki, they ride on Buhari, but they felt that they are somebody important. Let me tell you something. At the earlier of this government, you discover that Bukola Saraki betrayed his party. By what? By conniving with opposition to come in government, making what has never happened in the history of Nigeria, the opposition becoming the Senate President. That is a fighter position. You trade it for your service and greatness interest.
Since how many years now? I don't want to talk.
European imperial adventure in Nigeria was essentially an enterprise in exploitation. Early in the days of imperialism, economic policy, particularly in the field of banking and currency, were crafted for the benefit of the enterprise. Among the results of British adventurism in Nigeria was a successful demonetization of the traditional currencies in the 19th and 20th century. In their place was introduced the British monetary system, consisting of the coins and notes. These forms of money thus became a common denominator for economic exchange in colonial Nigeria. Following the attainment of political independence in 1960, Nigerian authorities had to introduce what might be described as truly Nigerian currencies. Nigeria has used various forms of currencies, including cowries and manillas during the British Nigerian colonial rule. Pounds and shillings was Nigeria's legal tender. On July 1, 1959, the Central Bank of Nigeria issued the first indigenous Nigeria currency in the denominations of 5 shillings, 10 shillings and 1 pound notes, which saw the end to the West African Currency Board notes and coins, which has been in existence since 1912. As the saying goes, change is constant. On July 1, 1962, the new government of Nigeria saw the need to change the legal tender status of the currency to reflect the country's new status. In 1963, following the attainment of a republican status, a political decision was taken to replace the existing currency note due to its misuse and as a war strategy. This was in compliance with the CBN Decree No. 51 of December 30, 1967. Since at the time of the decree, the country was engaged in a civil war that lasted between 1967 to 1970. To this end, a decision to remove all the stocks of the new notes to a branch of the CBN and all the sub-centers was taken in June 1964. Meanwhile, implementation began on July 1, 1965. However, the old and new currency still bore pictures of Nigeria's main export commodity, cocoa, groundnut, and palm produce. In March 1971, the then head of state announced that Nigeria would change the decimal currency. As of January 1, 1973, the Nigerian currency was decimalized. This development in the country's currency history did put an end to the use of Nigeria's pounds, shillings, and pence. Meanwhile, in their place came the naira and kobo. The major currency note was called naira, and it was equivalent to 10 shillings. The minor currency note was called kobo, 100 of which make 1 naira. 6 months to January 2, 1973, the date the new currency came into use, the CBN introduced coins in the value of 1 kobo, 10 kobo, and 25 kobo into the economy. The bank embarked on this line of action with a directive to shops and stores to fix prices of their commodity into the new as well as the old currency unit. The advanced arrangement was meant to provide enough enlightenment to members of the public. On its part, the Decimal Currency Board of the CBN, through its publicity unit, embarked on the distribution of posters, conversion table, leaflets, and other publications to educate the public on the decimalization arrangement. The 1970s experienced a significant increase in the volume of economic activities in Nigeria, with a phenomenal growth in the volume of commercial transactions coupled with the oil boom of the decade. On 2nd July 1979, for a takeoff, the new currency were in 4 various denominations of bank notes, which were 50 kobo, 1 naira, 5 naira, and 10 naira. The change that took place was a major one, and this involved both currency notes and coins. Meanwhile, the major unit of currency, which used to be 1 pound, ceased to exist, and the 1 naira, which was equivalent to 10 shillings, became the major unit. On 11th February 1977, after the assassination of the then head of state, General Murtala Muhammad, a new banknote of the denomination of the value of 20 naira was issued. This was special because it was the highest denomination to be issued then, and it became necessary then as a result of the economic growth. The 20 naira banknote became the first banknote in Nigeria bearing the portrait of a Nigerian citizen. In this case was the late head of state, General Murtala Mohammed, 1938 to 1976, who was the torchbearer of the Nigerian Revolution in July 1975. In 1984, the Nigerian military government of Muhammadu Buhari, in an attempt to legitimize its interruption of the democratic process through a military coup d'etat, directed the CBN to cause a change in the colors of the Nigerian currency. The exercise was designed to devalue the money alleged to have been stolen by Nigerian political leaders. In 1991, both the 50 kobo, 1 naira note were coins. It is believed that monetary reforms of this period, particularly the introduction of the 50 naira currency note, were carried out in response to increased private and privated spending resulting from Nigerians' excess oil revenue of the period. Some Nigerian currencies were recommended for redesign, but it was not accepted by certain sectors of the Nigerian society. Some Nigerians were inclined to believe that the demonetization of the smaller denomination was meant to depreciate the value of the currency. This particular reform heralded the erosion of coins in Nigeria and precipitated its waning use. Consequently, the 5 naira note became the minimum denomination acceptable in the Nigerian society. In response to the expansion in economic activities and to facilitate efficient payment system, the currency reforms continued in 1999 with the introduction of the 100 naira banknote. In the front view, the currency unit bears the portrait of Chief Obafemi Awolowo, Premier of Western Region of Nigeria in the 1950s and leader of the opposition party at the federal level in the 1960s. In its back view is a picture of the Zuma Rock. November 2000 and April 2001, the CBN issued 200, 500 banknotes respectively, with the former bearing the portrait of Alhaji Sir Ahmadu Bello, former Premier of the defunct Northern Region. On the back view of the currency denomination are pictures of heads of cattle, agricultural products, and the Nigerian coat of arms. The 500 naira denomination bears in its front view the portrait of Chief Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, Premier of the defunct Eastern Region and first Nigerian President between 1963 and 1966. It bears the Nigeria coat of arms on the reverse side. It also bears the Naira sign on both sides of the note. The latest currency denomination introduced in Nigeria was the 1,000 Naira currency note. This was introduced on the 12th of October 2005 by the Central Bank of Nigeria. Peculiar to this currency is that it bears in front views portraits of the past CBN governors: Alhaji Aliyu Maibronu, governor of the Central Bank 1963 to 1969, and Dr. Clement Isong, governor of the Central Bank 1967 to 1975. There is also a gold foil on the front of the note with the Nigerian coat of arms and the numeral 1000. Also peculiar to this denomination is that it is devoid of the Naira sign. The trend of higher currency denominations in Nigeria over the years has only testified to the fact that the Naira has depreciated against the dollar, pounds, and other advanced capitalist currencies of the Western Hemisphere. Here are the faces of Nigeria heroes that have graced the Nigerian currency over time.
Ours is a country of vast tropical and equatorial woodlands with arid deserts to extensive savanna grasslands, expansive mountains, immense rivers, numerous waterfalls, and mystical forests. Nigeria has it all. It is a place of rhythm, of dance, of music, of festivals, of tradition and culture, of spectacular color, of glamour, and a country of 200 million smiles. And home to a unique people of incomparable passion. A country blessed with breathtaking landscapes, home to some of the most diverse equatorial flora and fauna species on the earth. Nigeria is the undisputed welcoming heart of Africa. We have 521 unique ethno-linguistic groups. The world's newest and organic language, Pidgin, the world's oldest structural sign language, Hausa Sign Language. In addition to the world's oldest continuous market, the 600-year-old Kurmi market, which is situated within the ancient northern city of Kano, where 1,000-year-old city walls can still be found intact to this day. Nigeria has unique and ancient cultures, traditions and customs, and is steeped in spirituality, with as many Muslims as Christians. We also boast the world's oldest systematic religious philosophical system in Ifa, also known as Afa, and practiced as Santeria, Candomblé, Palo, Ubanda, and Voodoo, and in various countries around the world. Nigeria is also home to the world's oldest purpose-built boat, the 8,500-year-old Ifuna canoe. Nigeria is the home of African sports, both ancient and modern, and has always been the beating heart of African football, which has gifted the world with some of the most dynamic and creative football players of all time. Gifted the world with music and artists such as the late Fela Kuti, King Sunny Ade, Seal, and many international performing artists, including Dame Shirley Bassey and Shadi Adu. Our country has also gifted the world with giants of African literature and poetry. Nigeria is a country on the move, a country of hard-working people and industrious and creative people. Our film industry, known as Nollywood, produces more movies in one day than Hollywood produces in 2 weeks, and is the place of thousands of stars and of millions of wonderfully welcoming, warm people. We are a country of kings, of queens, businessmen, and businesswomen. A place of vast, sprawling game parks, a country where African traditions have always been first. A country of drums, of colors, culture, of festivals, of music, of rhythm, and art. This is Nigeria. There is simply nothing quite like it.
Plastic bags. I'll say every day.
Plastic bag. Wow. I might say every day.
There is nothing I make use of in my shop as leather. I use about 2 packages of leather every day.
Packing several things, clothes. It could be clothes at times. It could just be maybe items from the market. As in when you buy foodstuffs, even packing other plastic bottles too, and virtually anything that needs to be packed. Most of the times we use plastic bags for them.
Or if I'm going to somewhere like the market or a shop or something, I'll definitely have to use a plastic bag.
For me, my business revolves around that. You can imagine coming to buy a pair of shoes and I'll just give you in your hands. What will happen? Will I ask you to put it in your handbag? No, I can't do without it. And then what if I come to the market and I want to buy tomato or whatever? What happens? Where will I put my stuff?
Leather, they help my business in many ways because of many customers, they cannot buy your market without leather now. They may not be, it will not be portable for them to carry it to the home. So there is portability being using leather in terms of putting the materials, that putting the goods that you have sold to the customers, so that it will be easy to carry to the car for them.
Because I need it for everything. I need it for my waist bin, I need to pack some things, I need it for everything.
I'm a fashion designer. Most times if my clients want to see me, I go with my bags, because when I come here I always come with clothes. That's the reason I'm using it.
Well, it depends on the quality of the plastic bag and the size. For instance, if it's like the big polythene bags, we recycle. We could still use it to maybe pack clothes later. We could still use it at home for maybe pack refuse before we dispose of it. But if it's the smaller ones that maybe you used to carry, like something like fish, or things that will still leave stain or smells in it, we dispose of it immediately.
So if it's perishable things, I'll definitely throw it. But if it's like about clothes, we usually keep it in a basket in my house, so we can use it for other things. Yes.
I don't know, but I think a long while.
Oh, this question, Oga. The question is too big. Leather can take, to me, maybe 1 year. It will decompose within a year.
Like a month. I don't know. Like a month.
My God, I'm sure it takes long, because I think those are the things that you usually see that last a very long time inside all of the refuse dump and all those things. Most times when you go to pack stuff from a refuse dump, some other things might have decomposed over time, but of course the plastic bags would just be there sticking out. So I'm sure it takes a long time.
I have no idea.
I guess for my little age, or for my little staying in this earth, I've never come across that one. Plastic bag, it don't decay easily. I've never seen it.
Well, how long it decomposes? How long? Because okay, well, at least from my own little knowledge of plastic, I know it's not biodegradable, so I know it takes a long time. Maybe I say 50 years thereabouts for it to actually decompose, because of the kind of material it's made out of. So, but I'm not sure about. But I know it's a very long time actually.
Wow. A month? Or a year. It depends. A year.
That's impossible. Hi. That's impossible. No.
I cannot agree. It takes 150 years to decompose in the soil. So I may believe it since I don't have any knowledge on it.
You don't say. Then we should reconsider, really.
I'm just hearing it for the first time.
For a nylon bag to decompose after 100 something years, I don't know. Maybe only a scientist can tell that, not me.
That's a lot of pollution for the ecosystem actually, because since it doesn't decompose on its own, definitely even in because okay, well, I dispose of it through waste bin and all that, but a lot of people just throw it in the gutters. So you, at least I know that will definitely clog up the drainages, and even for, well, in fact, even to try to like quantify the amount of damage. Well, I really can't quantify, but I know it's a lot. It's a lot of damage to the ecosystem.
It causes erosion. I think that's which I've come across before. Erosion during rainy season, when you drop it, like when you keep them anyhow, like in the dustbin, and it rain, can easily cause erosion.
Well, I'm not really sure of like exact effects, but I shall know that every single thing in this world has its side effects. It has, even this microphone might have its own side effects. So I'm not really sure, but I'm very sure it does. It has side effects.
Plastic bag? No, I don't think so. It's not possible, honestly.
No. No, I can't.
I don't know how it's going to look like, but I don't think I can stay without that plastic bag. Because if I did not, then my client, they will insult me there now, shoe. They will cost my life. So I don't think I can stay without using plastic bag. That's true.
My name is Femi Anikula Pokuti. This is just to tell you, beg you, plead with you, don't let anybody lure you into being violent. It's very important for us to have a peaceful elections. We need to think about the future of this country, of our children. We can be a great nation. And the first step is desist from being violent. Let's have a peaceful elections.
You're watching People's Television, your people's preferred station, powered by you.
3.5 years ago, when Nigerians were anticipating that democracy in Nigeria must have gotten to a point where we will sit back and enjoy some very, very laudable dividend of democracy. We had some few members, politicians if you ask me, defecting from the then ruling party, which happens to be the People's Democratic Party, to the then opposition party, the All Progressives Congress. 3 years down the line, we are seeing the reverse of that action. Now the question that is on the lips of Nigerians is the fact that, is our democracy undergoing tutelage? Defections here and there from one party to the other. Do we really have politicians of ideology, or we have politicians full of, their own personal interest? Now, these and more are what we'll be looking at today. Thank you very much for joining us today on Politics and You. My name is Pius Samuel, and today we'll be looking at the spate of defection, like I said earlier on. And the question is our democracy undergoing tutelage? To do justice to this topic and many more questions we'll be putting across to our guest today is Vande Fan James. Thank you for finding the time to be here today.
Thank you, Mr. Pius.
Yeah, I know you are a politician, and then you've been following the trend, since 2015, where we have some politicians moving from the then ruling party to the opposition party. Today we have a reverse of that particular action 3.5 years down the line. What will you make of our democracy 20 years, if you ask me, down the line? Are we really making any progress?
Yeah, if you look at 20 years, a whole long time, and we can't be talking of making mistakes again. We are progressing. We are matured as a democratic nation today. And I think defections in democracy are normal. In Nigeria, it has become part of the culture of politicians in Nigeria. You look at defections, every second term of every government has its challenges. If you look at from the beginning, Obasanjo had the same challenges when he wanted to go for second term. It has to take a long time for him to negotiate with the then vice president to get some concessions. A lot of people were not satisfied. They defected. And when Yaradua came and left and Jonathan concluded the tenure, it was the same challenges that we had. A lot of people defected, including Tambua and the rest of them. And today, the same set of people are cross-carpeting back to where they came from. So if you ask me, it is not politics of ideology in Nigeria. It's politics of interest. And it is because of the personal interest of politicians that you see development is not going down the masses. Because those who are in charge are only interested about what they can make, where they can be, and how they can be there. But not what the masses can get. Politics should be a thing of ideology, as you said. But in our country, ideology is not part of what we join politics for. We join politics because we want to hold certain positions and certain powers. And once challenges are coming that we are not going to be recognized or to be voted back into power, then we're starting from where we can have an alternative place to go and host our interests. So it is the interest that matters in Nigeria, not the ideology. Ideology is like a church. When you believe in this church giving you a lot of miracles, you go there. And today they believe that maybe they can go to the same party they ran from, they can get the same churches, the same solutions. But I think they're making a mistake. So defections are wrong now.
You made a very salient point now. You think they're making a mistake. Now, what exactly do you mean by that?
What I mean by that is that those who join politics 20 years after now also want to have places in these positions. Those who joined some 15 years ago have grown to a level that they also want to occupy certain positions. And if you look at those who are defected, people that have been in the corridors of power for a very long time, for the past 20 years, since the inception of democracy. So when you have this type of people that are defecting from A to B and B back to A, you will not agree that those who are coming in, you left this party and some people don't work that party to become stable. And somewhere along the line, you are coming back to join the same party to abandon. So such people will not allow you to have that kind of opportunity again you had, that you abused. So it will be difficult for them now to get a kind of a landing point they got when they wanted to join APC. That's why I say it's a mistake.
So are we right to say that even the opposition party that is enjoying the inferior of the fact that some very high-profile members of the APC have defected to their party, are we likely to see some other crisis in the opposition PDP?
I don't see the opposition having crisis now. The crisis they may have, yes, is as a result of people who are coming to join them now. Because before you join a political party at that level they want to go, you must have made some arrangements. And these arrangements, it must start from the lower levels of the party to the national. And most of them made the arrangement with the national headquarters of the PDP. So I don't think those who are at the state level will allow them to come and have the same fee they really had that other time. Because then it was an inclusive arrangement that was made from bottom to top and like that. But today you discover that most of these defections were done with the understanding of the national party of the national headquarters of PDP. So if you go to some states, you don't discover that those who were holding PDP were not carried along to allow those who are defending to come in and have certain landings. They promised them at the federal that, okay, at the national headquarters of PDP, when you go back, this is what you will get. So PDP is also going to have a lot of crisis when nomination starts properly.
Now, what do you think is the way forward, especially for the opposition, having enjoyed, some of the defection, majority, like the Kwara State House of Assembly, over 23 of them have moved, with the Senate President back to the opposition party, the People's Democratic Party. And don't forget that the Senate President also has moved. And then from his office and from the hierarchy of elected officers in the opposition People's Democratic Party, it will be right for us to conclude and say that for now, the Senate President, having been the highest officer, that has been elected, can be seen as the national leader of the People's Democratic Party. Are we likely to see, something different playing out?
Yes, something different may play out because, as I said, those who nurtured this party to stay aloof up till now may not allow this kind of automatic tag against the names of those who are coming in. Because Nigerians are those who like power. We want power by all means, no matter how the power comes. We want to occupy certain positions. If you look at the politics in Kwara, Saraki dynasty is still there. The children are still alive, and Saraki, the junior, has been able to hold on to power for a very long time in Kwara after the demise of the father. May his soul rest in peace. But you still see that, for me, it's not just a thing that gives you joy that you were in PDP, you move into APC. APC gave you an exalted position like the speakership of the Senate president. And then today you abandon the same party to go back to PDP that you run away from before. Now, how have you been able to address the issues that were in PDP when you were in PDP in Kwara that made you to go back to it? Are those issues no longer there? And by the time you are going back and you say the whole state has defected, it's not as if Senate President is the only person who is a leader in Kwara. Other people too may want to become governors and Senate Presidents in Kwara also. So they have interest. So for everybody to follow you out of politics, out of APC to PDP, for me, it is not a good omen for the state like Kwara. It should be a thing that you should have people within APC that can stand their ground and say, no, our ideology is not what you want. But for now, it looks as if he's the only person driving the opposition, driving APC in the state. And that's why they have to follow him to wherever he's going, including the national secretary of the party. I don't see what he didn't get in APC that will make him to run away. You are the Senate President, you have the National Secretary of APC under you, and then some other key positions that were given to Kwara. And you are the one that controlled it, and from nowhere you decided just to go back to the same PDP. So for me, you are losing your integrity as a person, and you are also not taking the nation as a serious nation where you are serving, that you can take your interest to override that of the personal interest. If you also look at what leadership quality has given to the National Assembly, you will now discover that before they went on recess, there was a need for him to take a look at the appropriation that was sent by the president for them to approve what INEC is supposed to use in running the next coming elections. This was abandoned, and that is the hallmark of what we are all there. You need INEC to conduct elections for you to occupy these offices, and today you are saying you will not deliberate on what INEC has, what the president sent to make the INEC office to become effective. So if INEC doesn't have money to conduct elections, I don't see the reason why we should be talking of staying in politics, because that is the headmaster of the entire political game house. If it is collapsed, it means there's no more politics in Nigeria. So for me, he has not been fair to the nation, not just to the presidency. He has not been fair to the nation, because these are very important bills that every other person is looking up to. That you abandon it and say you are going on recess, and then from recess you announce your retirement. You are causing a lot of chaos instead of making the National Assembly work for the good governance of the nation. So he didn't give the leadership quality that everybody should expect from a young man like him.
Now, let's look at some of the reasons he gave, before defecting. One of the reasons is the fact that he said he's been persecuted. That's number one. Number two, he also told his constituents that, some of the juicy offices or positions in the federal executive or in the federal cabinet were given to people, from Katsina State and Lagos State. That the Kwarans never enjoyed anything, that is termed or tagged as juicy position in the federal cabinet. Do you want to align yourself with that?
No, I wouldn't align myself to that. It's just a cheap blackmail to the nation. First of all, how much was the total vote cast in Kwara to APC?
Is that a determining factor?
Yes, it is.
You to have federal appointment?
Yes, politics is a game on number. Now, if you feel it's not a game on number, you should ask yourself, how many PDP candidates are not occupying positions in the federal government today? They are Nigerians. And the president is the president of the National Federal Republic of Nigeria. So how many people from opposition are given appointments in the government today? But the president has been so kind and so good that all the appointees he inherited from Jonathan, they are still running their offices today until they finish their term. There was very few of them that he felt they were not given the kind of result he wanted, that have been relieved of their appointments. But if you look at most of the generals, they are still running there today, and most of them were appointed by the administration he inherited. Now, when you talk of people from Kwara not getting the appointments, Kwara had a minister like any other person. And if you look at my state in Benue, we are not complaining because we knew that it is because we don't have someone there then who could now sit with the presidency and discuss what Benue should get. But you are a Senate president, for God's sake. Why can't you go to the president and table these things with him and say, I want ABCD to be included in your cabinet? Even if it's not at the ministerial level, there are so many other appointments that the federal government can make available to you. You didn't discuss most of these things. Even if you do in the private, these are not things that we know in the public. And you are making these things to become public. You have not failed, you have failed to now tell the public how you have been able to make efforts in carrying Kwara along inside the governance. So for me, it is just a cry when the head of the snake is gone, that you are beaten by the body of a snake. So he is not defecting because Kwara didn't get what they want. If you look at also prosecution, the anti-corruption war of Buhari has been very total, to be very fair to him. If you look at those who are undergoing prosecution, you have a lot of senators who are from APC too that are undergoing the same prosecution with him. And one of them is in jail today. Nobody is crying from just that their own person has been sent to jail even though he's still a member of their party. Oji Kalu is still going under prosecution. He's a member of APC. You have a lot of them like that. So for the fact that you're a Senate president does not mean you cannot be prosecuted when things are going wrong or you have done certain things that are perceived to have been wrong. We should learn in Nigeria to agree that nobody is above the law. When we agree with this adage, then we should be having a very good nation. But when we are afraid of certain individuals that we can't prosecute them because of occupying certain positions, then we are looking at the individual to be above the law, which is too bad for the nation.
Then where is the place of immunity?
Well, immunity for me, it should be from your character, not from what you do a wrong thing and you expect immunity to cover you. No. Immunity should be that you should know that as an adult you do the right thing. Get immunity from your age, immunity from your religion, immunity from your education. Not immunity that you occupy certain positions, you can misbehave, and then government should just look the other way around. We are creating anarchy. We are talking of immunity that certain people should be prosecuted. For me, it's not worth it. It's not worth it at all.
So how will you now relate this to our nascent democracy 20 years down the line? Do you think we are still undergoing tutelage? And let's not forget, in a hurry, that this might not just be the last defection we'll be talking about as far as Nigeria's democracy is concerned. Are you worried in all of this?
Well, I am not worried as a person and as a newcomer in the game because from a security point of view, I have observed Nigerian democracy for a very long time and I really get disappointed with the personalities inside the whole thing. But when you look at 20 years down the line, it's a very long period that a child who was born in 1999 today is a university graduate. So we shouldn't be talking about learning now. We should be talking about graduating from where we were to postgraduate level now. So if people are defecting, certainly you should ask yourself, how long have they been in the corridors of power? And then how do they get to power? How do they get to certain positions that they want? If you look at the selection of the Senate president, for instance, the presidency didn't really influence how he came on board. And that would have given him a sense of understanding that he will work closely with the leadership of the federation. But somewhere along the line, these things didn't work out. So you are creating a room that every other president now will not want to take interest in who becomes the Senate president. Because you didn't give the nation that kind of leadership that the nation won, because you feel you were brought in by maybe your manipulation or by your powers or by your your intelligence to become the Senate President. You didn't carry the President around along with what you are doing. Secondly, if you look at development, as a Senate President, if you are leaving the party or if you have issues, it should be issues of saying ABCD was advised to the President to do so that the nation can be better off. The President didn't do it. ABC was supposed to be done. It was not done. We should be talking about national issues, not personal, not individualistic issues. Those things cannot take us anywhere. If we want democracy to continue to be the way it is, defections will still continue because we are not having politicians of ideology. Unless we have people who cannot sit down and say, I want to serve my people, as the President is doing today. If you look at the mantra of corruption today, everybody say Magu should go. I work with Magu very closely. Magu is someone that can really work when he chooses to work. He is never someone that is afraid. So if you had that kind of a fearless person who is giving results and you are saying he must go, and the man said, okay, this is the man that can deliver for me, and he has shown results until today, you still feel that Magu is not being individualistic in the prosecution of the anti-corruption crusade, then we are wrong. Secondly, if you look at the President as an individual today, he told you this is ABC that I will do. He has been able to keep faith with these things that he has done. So in democracy today, we have seen where generals have been sent to jail. We are seeing where ex-service chiefs have been under investigation, have been detained. These are things that we are hitherto not done, we are not even thought about. So for me, for them to obey the civil rules of going to answer charges levied against them is a testimony that democracy is matured.
All right, 20 years down the line, I'm trying to get Section 50 of our Constitution, which actually gave a guideline on how principal officers in the National Assembly, will actually emerge. Section 50 there, still opening on my tablet, actually indicates that, the members of the House will be saddled with the responsibility of choosing whoever they want, to be, the president or the chairman of the Assembly. And also down subsection A, B, and C, gave other reasons how one can be removed. Is either by 2/3 majority of the House, via a resolution, then a principal officer can be removed, either the Speaker or the Senate President. Aside that, the Senate President or the Speaker can also, be removed if he is no longer the member of the chamber. There are no places where it was stipulated in the Constitution, as far as Section 50 is concerned, where the Senate President can just because he has defected, he will now relinquish his power. Now, looking at all of this vis-a-vis the Constitution, we've seen the national chairman of the APC coming out to ask the Senate President to resign. Do you think this is democratic?
Yes, it is democratic because the man became the Senate President on the platform of APC. And if you don't like the APC, the best thing is for you to resign your appointment as the Senate President. Even though the law, as you say, didn't specify that you must come from APC to become the Senate President, it depends on the wish of the House and the majority of the party that controls the House. In the context of this, we are looking at the majority party in the National Assembly, in the House, in the Senate. And the majority party has been the PDP and some other 2-3 political parties. Now, when you are talking of those who are going to form the majority today, you are not just looking at PDP, you are going to include all these other members of the other parties that are going to be part of your minority groups. Now, have they complained that they are not satisfied with the leadership of the country? That's the first question. Now, have they also complained that they want to join your political party because they are not satisfied with where they are? So you can't coerce people from other agencies, other parties to join you as a defecting senator to go to PDP, so all other people should be subsumed into your PDP status. It can't be like that. So what they can do if they want to is, one, to collect signatures to impeach the Senate President. And I bet you those who are the minority of other political parties will agree to go with APC. So the Senate President must go. For me, he must go.
But do you think it's in the place of the national chairman to put that call through to him?
Yes, it is. He is a national chairman of APC, and he was his own son. He has gone. Maybe a lot of issues might have gone through, negotiations might have gone through. And when you look at the catalog of what happened in the National Assembly, it is presumed now that he was doing these things deliberately to give the APC government a very bad name. That is why he was not willing to pass bills that were sent him on time, so that administration cannot give the needed results to the public. So today that he has defected, it's a credence to the fact that he was pursuing his individual ambition over and above that of national interest, and that's why he was not working together with his presidency.
Well, but the National Assembly has also come out to tell Nigerians that they will not be a rubber stamp to the executive. Do you think that every bill that comes from the executive should just be waived or be treated with a pinch of salt, and because it's coming from the executive? Do you think if that is done, don't you think the principles of check and balances, would have been, undermined?
No, it is not that bills from the presidency could be treated with speed or given an overriding interest. What I mean is that when bills are sent from the presidency, it is one thing for you to take a look at them and see how important they are to development of the national interest. But where you don't just bother, like the budget that stayed with them for 8 months, what reasons were they giving? Budget is a thing that has been done, mathematics of it has been done. So when it is sent to you, the committee is supposed to take a look at all the chapters and all the issues that were raised in the budget. You have a summarized version of it, because those who are saying the budget are very intelligent people. They are people who are professionals. So they've done a logical work for you to make sure that the work you are going to review is not going to be so tedious for you. So budget can't stay more than 2 months for you to go through and pass. Secondly, we are talking of INEC issues today. Now, a bill was sent to them to not give appropriation status to the money that INEC is supposed to use. And then from nowhere, you just woke up and say you are joining National Assembly to September. Now, primaries are supposed to be conducted very soon. We are still on recess. The sales of forms is supposed to start this month. You are still on recess. And INEC need to have money to move around and do most of these things. Now, where they don't have money, it means the timetable for this can be juggled. You have caused a lot of imbalances in the arrangement of the whole national election. So the most important thing is anything that is sent from the National Assembly, sent to National Assembly from the presidency, it is a matter of national interest. So it's good that the principal officer should take a look at it and say how important that thing is, and then work on it. If it is not important, send it back to the president and then make some comments that ABCD should be done before you send it back. But look at the time we are going on recess. So I think if you are working that way, there will be this check and balances. Checks and balances doesn't mean unless everything that's sent to you should be rejected or should be done the way you want it to be done. No, it should be a thing that has sent A to you. You review it and you feel that it doesn't meet the standard of what you want. So just in writing to me that ABC should be done, you send it back to me. I take a look at it and agree with you or disagree with you and I send it back to you. That is checks and balances. So it shouldn't be a thing that they must carry guns among themselves and face the National Assembly and the Assembly's face the president vote and know that there are checks and balances. Shouldn't be a thing like that. It should be a thing of understanding each other to see that whatever you are doing must be harmonious, not that there should be conflict every time.
But you talked about the budget and why the budget has been delayed. We saw the National Assembly also came out to tell Nigerians that some ministries, departments and agencies of government refused to show up to defend their budget. They said that not once, not twice. Now, if you juxtapose this vis-a-vis the delay in budget passage by the National Assembly, what will you say is responsible for all of this? Do you think the bumpy ride or the bumpy relationship between the legislature and the executive is responsible for all of this? Or, and don't forget that the president also gave a marching order to some of these ministries to go to the National Assembly and defend their budgets. Do you think the bumpy ride is healthy for our democracy?
Well, it's healthy to an extent. It's healthy to an extent that you were talking about checks and balances. And now the National Assembly is telling you that people refuse to come and defend their budgets. And they told the presidency, and the president now said, go and defend your budget. And they came. You may not know what challenges they might have been going through between the MDGs and then the committees. Because defending budget is not that you are going to face every other person. You are going to your committee that supervises has overriding function over you. Now, when you have such a committee that is giving you challenges, you may not really want to come and meet them. You will tell your minister that, look, I am having issues with the Senate committee on ABCD. They don't allow me to defend the budget, or they are forcing me to include ABC in the budget, which is what you said I shouldn't do. So it could be that these things were happening behind the door. We're not aware. So they just came out to say, okay, this people refuse to come. There's no Nigerian, no MD that will refuse to go and defend his budget, because that is what is going to make him to work. If what is going to make him to work is on the table and you are saying, come, let us sit down and take a look at your figures and see where we can reduce or add or adjust. No MD can do that. There's no MD. There must be something that was wrong behind the scene.
Okay, now we've seen governors move from the ruling All Progressive, the PDP. What does this portend to our democracy? Like you rightly said, we need people of ideology. What does this really portend? Because a lot of people will feel that, why are they defecting? You know, that's the first question that comes to mind. Why are they defecting? Is this healthy as we go ahead, as we move ahead as a nation? Why are they defecting? Aren't there, you know, windows where, you know, individuals with grievances can come together to make things work for themselves and then the nation? Why are these people moving?
Well, just as I said earlier, people are moving not because they feel they don't have a say in APC or in the political party they belong to, but it's because their individual intention is not realized, and that's why they are moving. If you ask of the governor of Sokoto State, what has been his basic challenge? Sokoto has been very calm, very peaceful. So what has been there for him not to perform? He didn't perform, so he ran away from APC, back to PDP. Now you come back to our state, and you ask, why is the governor defecting? Well, why has he defected? The whole thing has been issue of red card. Now, nobody is asking, including you, the journalist, why were you given a red card? Nobody has ever asked him that question. The whole issue is that I've been given a red card, so I can't stay in the match again. Now, when you have not stayed in the match again, what is the essence of getting a red card? You miss the match that is ongoing, and then you now also miss the next match. So if you say you have a red card, the most important thing for you is to resign as a governor of the state and then mix your second tenure. That's the essence of red card. But when you say you have a red card and you are still in government house, then you are violating the essence of red card. So nobody is asking our governor, why were you given a red card? And to be fair to him, he has tied his red card issue to issue of his championing the cause of the anti-open grazing law. And then the next one is that he has issues with the Senate leader, the APC leader in Benue, Senator Akume. But these issues have never been brought to the fore before. The party in every state has party elders. Now, what level do they take the party elders into confidence? Now, these are the machineries that you are supposed to explore before you be talking of defecting. Now, was the party elders, were they carried along in the whole essence of radicalism? They were not. Because I've been in Benue, I spoke to a number of them. You expect that the elders will call the governor, call Akume, and they will sit down and say where they can get around these things. The same thing in Sokoto, if he has challenges with the party there, and also in Kwara. Now, you don't have issues until towards the end of nominations to other elective offices you are talking of. You don't have a space. Then you have a red card, you have this, you have that. Now, you go back to Benue, it's a sorry stay, because that's where I come from. I go home almost every week. Now, you discover that we have been able to talk about issue of killings and killings and killings, and we've forgotten that there's governance at all in Benue. We've forgotten about that. So until we're able to marry the 2 years, there are killings going on that are very unfortunate. But at least to an extent, let us do something to show that we are receiving small stipends from the federal government, to show the people that we are working here and there. Now, the hospitals are not working well. The schools are not working very effectively. The roads are very bad. The internal roads, not the federal roads now. The internal roads are also very bad. So we should be looking at these things to see that at least Makurdi as a state capital is brought to a certain level of standard. It is still where it was. So these are the issues we should be talking about, not issue of just red card only. So when we are talking about defections, for me, it is because most of these people didn't perform well. So they are looking for where they can now go, use their own tenure to not host it on them. But when you look at most of the states, you still discover that I don't have the good statistics now, but I know that second tenure election in every state has been a challenge to this person who's the incumbent. Because what you promise is what you don't deliver. And once you don't deliver, you become scared that the people will vote you out. So you look for excuses that can make you stay around them. And then you get some degree of sympathy. So that's what most of them are today trying to build on. They want sympathy for the masses that I am being pursued out of this party because I'm doing ABCD for you. But for me, that is just a childish kind of blame game they want to start.
Now, is it right for us to say, or if I ask you this question, will you say Governor Samuel Ortom of Benue State, will you say he has failed for the past 3.5 years?
Well, yes, if you look at indices of government, he has failed. If you look at the government indices in terms of measuring performance, parameters, he didn't do well because I was shocked to see the quantum of monies on social media circulating, whether it's true or not. But when I saw what the EFCC posted on their website, I was alarmed that we can have such monies to spend on security, then something is wrong with us. Because even the federal government prosecuting a civil war, we can't be spending 20 billion to fight an internal insurgency that we did in Benue. So if you have that kind of money that he can be talking of security and yet we are, then something is wrong with us.
Then,
so he didn't perform.
Yeah, all this money is 20 billion naira. Do you mean that is what is meant for security in Benue State?
Yes, from what the EFCC posted on their website and I saw, that is the excuse of those who can make statements, agreed that monies were withdrawn to that level because of security arrangements in the state. So for me, it's too colossal for you to be talking about that kind of monies. Because I know, as a field officer, how much you pay to a constable who is on such an emergency duty, how much you give to a soldier or to civil defense. But when you have 20 billion that is appropriated for these issues, then I think it's colossal, it's too much.
Now, don't you think sometimes these monies will just be in figures and what is released is maybe half or maybe a quarter of it?
Well, it could be that what is released to security agencies is not up to that 22 billion. Yes, it's most likely it's not up to that. But because there's an issue on the ground today, you can create a loophole where you cannot siphon money and tag it to the same overhead. So for me, I feel that give and take. You can't spend that kind of money to fight insurgency within the state. It's too much.
Now, let's look at Sokoto State. Governor Aminu Tambuwal. Do you think that Aminu Tambuwal can just take, an isolated decision to defect back to the opposition? All of the defection saga. The 2019 general election is just around the corner. And just a couple of days ago, the Supreme Court, gave verdict on the National Assembly appeal that they have the right to alter election sequence, as released by the Independent National Electoral Commission. Building up from that, up to this point, what is your take in all of this? Do you think our democracy is likely to suffer because of some personal interest or some intrinsically minute number of people trying to drag the nation, down?
Well, for me, I feel that is not even an important thing because what has happened today is that the National Assembly or maybe the Senate President wanted to see where, if he's in APC, let the elections be done the way he wants. And once the National Assembly elections are done for the presidency, once you win your election, you can dictate where the pendulum swings to. And that is why they were insisting that they should do the National Assembly elections and the president comes last. They don't have the right by law now to fix the order of election. That is entirely the work of INEC. Anything in election is the work of INEC. And they will give you a timetable that this is when I'll be ready with my staff. This is when the logistics are going to be ready. This is how I want elections done, and this is how the order should be.
But the court is interpreting it differently.
Well, I have not read the real judgment. I only read the comments from newspapers and from social media. Now, the court is not saying INEC was right. The court was saying, yes, INEC may be right in trying to order the election timing, not the timetable now. But what the party that came to court, the law has not been passed. So if there's no law, what are you challenging before the court? Because that is the essence of what our people are. We're in a hurry to do the wrong things at the wrong time. And that is why the party that went to court It was mere discussion that, yes, let us reorder election timetable. It was not yet debated. It has not been passed on the floor of the National Assembly. And if it is going to be a law, it must be sent to the president for him to sign. And where he says no, it can be sent back to them. And they know that it's going to take them time to collect enough signatures to allow this thing to become a law. 90 days by then, election might have been come and gone. So I don't see why the party went to court trying to ask the court to now preside over an issue that has never existed at all. So for me, INEC has the powers to conduct elections and fix the order in the way they feel is convenient for them, not the National Assembly.
Okay, in all of this, it still still boils down to our democracy. Now let's move a little bit. Let's take a step further in all of this. Now, where do you think is the place of the Constitution when it comes to issues of national development under a democratic setting? Because we were told, you know, that the Constitution is the grand norm of every state, and it appears as if in Nigeria we don't have that respect for our Constitution. How do you marry both, having our Constitution, having our democracy, having it, you know, side by side, with people adhering to the tenets of the Constitution?
Well, I would ascribe to the fact that we are not respecting our Constitution. We are seriously respecting the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. If you look at the Constitution of other countries, vis-a-vis our own, you now discover that no constitution is perfect. There's none that is perfect. Every constitution has certain things that could come out tomorrow to challenge it. And that is why you have the law codes that when you go to court, you should be able to now to amend the constitution by court pronouncements, judicial pronouncements. Now in Nigeria it's not the same, it's not different. Any issue that is not captured by the constitution is also a challenge in court. And it is the court now that can interpret the legality of whatever we have brought before it and lay the facts before the court. So if you look at Nigeria, development today is part of what we are trying to do in democracy. We are 20 years old as a democratic nation. And in Africa today, there's hardly any other country that has a uniform man ruling it. The last could have been maybe where that we have a soldier that has come, in Uganda, where Museveni now decided to change from military to the civil. Now, but when you look at the totality of all this, where we were 20 years ago, are we there today? No. We have moved from certain other parameters of development to where we are. We have increased the number of universities that we used to have in Nigeria today, both private and federal and states. We have also had a lot of population growth. We are planning to see how we can capture most of these things. And the government is also trying to look at how it can use the population today to create a market that within us here we should be able to have a lot of industries that can do. And that's why they're talking about easing out the difficulty in doing business in Nigeria, shortening the time, removing most of the bottlenecks. Then when you look at issues of security, we've been able to fight Boko Haram to a level today. Kwara, that used to be like a heaven for training Boko Haram, is no longer there. When you look at Abuja today, it has been relatively very safe. We don't have issues of bombings again. When you look at areas like Adamawa, at least apart from the insurgency today from militia, the Fulani herdsmen, we don't have much challenges of Boko Haram in Adamawa State again. So the only state where you still have this issue that are raising its head is in Borno. So you know that Borno has land borders with 3 states, 3 countries, Cameroon, Niger, and Chad. So, and it's a very vast land. How many soldiers will you deploy there to cover most of this porous border? So you will still have pockets of resistance from Boko Haram, which has been criminalized now. Most of them are criminals now that are trying to find relevance in government. Because one day they will come out that, okay, we want to now stop fighting. Let us negotiate. All they are doing is relevance. So if you look at the totality of all these things, we have progressed as a nation. So we can't be saying the law didn't work in Nigeria. We are obeying the laws today. We are also using the Constitution to become the benchmark of what we can do as a nation. So we are developing.
Okay, we are developing. That's coming from my guest, Fande James. All right, let's also look at some other issues, relating to defection and how it's going to affect the timing and also, the outcome of the 2019 general elections. Now, with the pocket of defections that we've seen so far, do you think there's going to be any significant, impact it will have, in the 2019 general elections? Don't forget that the Senate president has moved and almost every member in the State House of Assembly has moved. And before we came into the studio, almost all the 23 council chairmen and also ward councillors have moved from the APC to the PDP, with the governor, with the Senate president. So also, in some other parts of the country, like in Sokoto, a few members have also moved from APC to PDP. Do you think this is going to really, really alter, the outcome of the 2019 elections, especially at the state level?
Well, at the state levels, yes, it can alter the outcome of certain results, because it depends on who is solely on the ground that can be able to do most of these things that can give results to. But at the national level, I don't think the president should have anything to worry, because he's going to win the election this time around with a wider margin than what he had before.
How do you mean?
A lot Nigerians are people that used to learn every day, and then they keep to these things. If you go to rural areas today to talk to people, everybody is telling you about individuals, not political parties now. Like in my place, they will tell you that it's no longer the politics of ABC. It's the politics of the personality. That's the person they feel that can give them results that they want, not the kind of party you are coming from. Well, if you look at the leadership of the nation today, the man has been able to show that sustained leadership. He has been able to show that he can give you security. He can also guide your resources. If you look at the foreign reserve, it has really gone up from where he took over from. When you also look at the issue of internal security in terms of investment also, we had a lot of influx of foreign direct investment coming to the country. So we feel that the result at national level, people that may like him now more than what he had when he was campaigning for his first tenure. So defection may not affect the outcome of his own results.
But at state and local government level, you think that can affect it?
Yes, at the state levels, yes, it is obvious that some states could really go the way the governors are going, because they may have a lot of people who are political leaders in those states that follow him or follow them. So if you are political leaders that are in love with the leadership of the state, then they may persuade their people to follow the governor where he's going to. But I think the margin could be also very slim when the results are announced.
What's the place of anti-party practice?
Well, anti-party practice here, for me, we have not really seen it, because if you are defecting from APC to PDP, and everybody is following you to PDP, if he's campaigning against APC, he's no longer doing anti-party today.
But we've seen some molds, like you've been, like the Senate president has been accused, for working for the opposition even while in the ruling party. Do you see that coming to limelight?
Yes, I say that here, that it is based on maybe his own perceived intention of leaving APC, that he was slowing down the good governance issues that were sent to him. So if he was not intending to leave APC, he would have been pushing the National Assembly to not support the president so that they can have a harmonious working relationship. But we discover that in the history of Nigeria, this is the National Assembly that will have a lot of issues with more than any other one before. Now, it could be right to say that he was anti-partying when he was there, because he was not supporting the leadership of the party, he was not supporting the leadership of the country. So where these things are not done, then you are really working against the party that gives you that kind of opportunity.
But don't forget, in a hurry, that even his emergence, we were having some feelers that the executive were not too happy about his emergence, because there was an anointed candidate that's supposed to emerge as the Senate president, and that actually lingered for a while, within which passing of bills and all that were distorted. Do you think that also could be responsible for some of the delays in passing of bills and all that?
Well, I don't think the president as a person was not interested in him. If you listen to the body language of the president when he was swearing in, he said, "I am for everybody, but I'm not for nobody." Now, when the issue of National Assembly came, I remember vividly he was quoted as to have said that he can work with anybody in the National Assembly, so he was not going to intervene in the selection process. The party was worried that the party wanted a particular candidate to become the Senate president. He wanted to become the Senate president, and negotiations were on before the inauguration of the House proper. But he did his game plan over and above that of the party, and then he was emerged, the Senate president. So it's not as if the president wanted him not to be there. It was the party that had its own zoning arrangement and knew where the presidency should come from at the National Assembly. But he, as an individual, also wanted to be there, and he worked for that, and he got it. And the president said, "Okay, fine, since we're the Senate president, let us work together." So the president was not against him, but he was against